Singapore is smaller than Rhode Island, a blip on the map, devoid of oil, no agriculture, no natural resources to mention. Still, this little island is producing millionaires at a rate that astounds everyone. 1 in every 15 persons, Singapore boasts 333,204 millionaires by 2023. For a country of barely 5.6 million inhabitants, that is an astonishing number. How can a nation without raw resources and so little territory create so great wealth? What is the key behind this millionaire explosion, and is it possible to implement their ideas elsewhere? Today we are delving deeply into Singapore's playbook, a masterpiece in converting aspiration into wealth. We will look at the foundations of its success, a property market that turns common people into investors, tax laws that attract the richest of the globe, and an education system producing global leaders. We will also meet Mr. Tan, a hawker whose path from a street booth to a multi-million-dollar portfolio epitomizes Singapore's formula along the way. This is the narrative of how a small island outwits the planet, and what we might pick up from it. Let us begin with the broad view. The climb of Singapore is not accidental. This city-state is positioned as a global superpower by intentional strategic actions. Its millionaire population jumped by 64%, from 207,000 to over 333,000 in just 4 years, 2019 to 2023. From New York to Hong Kong, that increase surpasses all other significant wealth centers. Having jumped London in per capita wealth, Singapore today ranks 4th among all the cities in the world. This is about a system meant to maximize human potential and economic possibility, not about chance or inherent advantages. Unlike rich countries like Saudi Arabia or vast economies like the United States, Singapore runs on a different currency: discipline, foresight, and connectedness. Though hardly a dot in the South China Sea, its 719 square kilometers have attracted riches, enticing dreamers, investors, and business people from all around. We need a guide if we are to grasp this phenomenon. Now enter Mr. Tan, a Singaporean whose narrative mirrors the actual patterns propelling the island's prosperity. Imagine him in the 1990s, standing behind a hawker stall in a busy food court, the air heavy with the scent of chicken rice. Though far from rich, he is making $2,000 a month, enough to get by. By now, Mr. Tan owns 3 $5 million residences, a portfolio that puts him among Singapore's wealthy. His path is more of a case study in how Singapore's system enables common people to produce remarkable results than a fairy tale. From taxes to real estate to education, we will follow his path and examine the tactics that enabled it over the next half hour. By the end, you will understand why Singapore is a millionaire manufacturer and how its ideas may inspire wealth building anywhere. Let us first consider the basis of Singapore's wealth, its educational system. Singapore has created a learning machine, the envy of countries in a world when information is power. Outrating powerhouses like Finland and Japan, the Program for International Student Assessment, or PISA, often puts Singapore first in math, science, and reading. This goes beyond simply test results to include building a workforce that rules world markets. From 7 years old, Singaporean pupils are enrolled in a program stressing technical skills, critical thinking, and problem-solving. Math courses enable young brains to solve difficult, practical problems, not only formulae. Science courses give invention top priority, equipping students for careers such as artificial intelligence and biotechnology. By high school, students are flooding specialist tracks, engineering, computer science, finance, that fit Singapore's economic agenda. This obsession with quality begins early and never abates. Under a merit-based culture, which prizes work and achievements over privilege or connections, primary schools impose among the highest-paid professionals worldwide. Teachers go through extensive training to provide hard and interesting classes. What follows? A generation of students that approach problems creatively rather than merely memorizing knowledge. Building on this basis, universities such as Nanyang Technological University and National University of Singapore generate graduates who challenge the finest from MIT or Oxford. For engineering and technology, for example, NUS ranks among the top 10 worldwide and produces talent to drive multinational companies and tech startups in Singapore. Over 80% of Singaporean graduates enter professions like software development, finance, or logistics, industries that support the country's $424 billion GDP. But one cannot rely just on education. Singapore combines a cultural obsession, discipline, with its academic rigor. In this country, responsibility and order are not only ideals, they are rather ways of life. The founding Prime Minister of Singapore, late Lee Kuan Yew, left a concept of meritocracy that still defines the nation now. Work hard, be honest, and the system will pay you, his basic advice was. Strict regulations and a society that values integrity help to almost eradicate corruption, a problem in many developing countries. Against regional neighbors, Singapore scores among the top 5 least corrupt nations on the Corruption Perceptions Index. This stability fosters an atmosphere in which riches can flourish free from concern about random loss. Discipline reaches into personal economics as well, with 80% of Singaporeans saving at least 20% of their income instead of the global average of 10%. They are among the most conscientious savers in the world. Policy supports this, not only a habit. Comprising a required social security system, the Central Provident Fund or CPF, mandates workers save up to 20% of their salaries, matched by company contributions. These money go toward housing, healthcare, and retirement, so forming a safety net that promotes long-term planning. For a small country, the CPF had nearly $500 billion in assets in 2023, a staggering number. For younger Singaporeans, this means beginning their careers with a financial head start free from the debt loads that afflict graduates in countries like the United States, where student debts reach $1.7 trillion. Let us now turn to the second pillar, taxation and worldwide connectivity. Singapore's tax structure is a masterpiece of economic strategy meant to draw riches without draining its people. One of the lowest among wealthy countries, corporate tax is capped at 17%, compared to 21% in the United States and 25% in Japan. For the richest earners, a fraction of the 37% top rate in the US or 45% in France, personal income tax peaks at 22%. Financial gains, tax-free, inheritability, taxes-free as well. These policies are a siren call to the richest people on earth, not only kind. More than in any other city except Dubai, 3,400 high-net-worth individuals, people with assets over $1 million, relocated to Singapore in 2023. Their capital brought billions, driving sectors ranging from real estate to banking. Not only are the elite blessed with this tax advantage, common people of Singapore also gain. Paying just 7% in income tax, a middle-class worker earning $60,000 leaves more for savings or investments. By contrast, Australia has a 32.5% tax rate on the same income. Low taxes imply more disposable money, which Singaporeans direct into stocks, real estate, or small companies. The government puts tax money back into infrastructure. World-class roads, hospitals, and schools that keeps the economy humming. Low taxes draw income, wealth funds development, and development generates more riches. It is a positive cycle. Taxes are only half the tale, though. Singapore's position at the crossroads of Asia qualifies it as a world nerve center, processing 37 million containers annually. One of the busiest ports on Earth handles 7% of world trade. Goods pass via Singapore's docks from China to Europe, India to America. With 140 nations connected to Changi Airport, rated the greatest airport in the world for 10 years, the city serves as a business and travel center. Changi greeted 58 million passengers in 2023, surpassing Heathrow in London. Multinational behemoths like Apple, Google, HSBC, who established regional offices here, draw in this connectedness and have generated 200,000 high-paying employment over the previous 10 years. For the ultra-rich, Singapore is a stronghold rather than merely a center. Political stability, rare in a world of turbulence, guarantees riches are secure from change. Rooted in British common law, the city's legal system is open and dependable, unlike governments beset by bureaucracy. Another draw is healthcare. Mount Elizabeth is among the top hospitals in Asia. From 1,100 in 2019, Singapore hosted 2,800 family offices, private companies handling billions for wealthy families in 2023. These offices confirm Singapore's position as a wealth management center by supervising green energy, real estate, and IT, as well as other investments. For tycoons like Eduardo Saverin, who relocated here in 2009, Singapore provides a difficultly matched mix of low taxes, security, and opportunity. Singapore's third pillar of wealth is its property market. So efficient, it transforms public housing into a millionaire maker. The foundation of this approach are HDB, or Housing Development Board, flats. Unlike most nations' public housing, HDBs are a national institution not only for the underprivileged. The government subsidizes these homes, therefore enabling 99% of people to afford one. For $200,000, a price unimaginable in locations like Sydney or San Francisco, a young couple might buy a 3-bedroom HDB. After 5 years of living in it, they can sell it on the open market, usually for $500,000 or more. The windfall of $300,000, the average HDB selling profit, will turn middle-class households into investors in 2023. This is design rather than conjecture. The government closely regulates the housing supply to guarantee consistent price increase free from catastrophic collapse. Limited land, Singapore's 719 square kilometers is less than New York City, causes scarcity, which stimulates demand. HDBs are assets that appreciate consistently, not only places of residence. To pay mortgages, over 80% of consumers draw on CPF funds, therefore lessening financial burden. Many Singaporeans sold their first HDB and upgraded to a private condominium by their 40s. This market, where prices have skyrocketed, with a 100% return in 10 years, a $1 million condo purchased in 2013 would be worth $2 million by 2023. By contrast, the housing market in London grew just 40% meantime, while Hong Kong expanded by 300%. Start with the HDB sell for profit. Get a condo, then reinvest in further houses or foreign assets. Clearly the property ladder. Thanks to tight rules that stop careless borrowing, this rigorous yet easily accessible approach is the government sets loan-to-value ratios at 75%, thereby guaranteeing buyers have skin in the game. This is not the case in the US, where lax lending drove the collapse in housing. The stability model of Singapore's system is based on default rates less than 1%. For someone like Mr. Tan, this market represents a road to millions, a disciplined ascent from small beginnings to great fortune. Let us now go back to Mr. Tan, whose narrative links these foundations. He worked as a hawker in a packed food court in the 1990s, sweating over a hot skillet. Though his monthly salary was meager, he exemplified Singapore's discipline and diligently saved 30%. Education also had a part, not in a classroom, but through self-learning. Mr. Tan researched market trends, read newspapers, and went to free financial community workshops. By 1998, he had saved $50,000, sufficient for a down payment on a $150,000 HDB apartment in Toa Payoh. He lived modestly, forsaking frills to pay off the mortgage with CPF money. He sold the unit for $400,000 7 years later, a $250,000 windfall that transformed his life. Entering the condo market with this capital, Mr. Tan paid $600,000 for a Tampines apartment. Unlike in high-tax countries where earnings are greatly taxed, Singapore's low taxes meant he kept most of his profits. He used the appreciation of his apartment to purchase 2 more, each funded with a combination of loans and savings over the next 10 years. His portfolio, 3 apartments in top locations like Orchard Road, valued $5 million by 2023. His achievement came from diligent application of Singapore's system, not from chance. He stayed always learning, saved aggressively, and made investments in a market set for expansion. Mr. Tan is retired today. His riches, rental income, showcases what is achievable in a country that values hard work. What makes the tale Mr. Tan tells universal? It's about values anybody may embrace, not only about Singapore's own policies. First, give education, formal or self-directed, top importance. In the modern economy, skills, not position, drive pay. Online courses have enabled millions of people in India, for instance, to upskill in coding, therefore increasing their average income. Second, save regularly, even with $10 a month. Micro-saving programs have enabled young employees in Japan to create $5,000 nest eggs in 5 years. Third, invest deliberately in a small business, stocks, or real estate. Micro-entrepreneurs who reinvest their revenues find 15% annual increase in Brazil. These are global facts Mr. Tan lived by, not beliefs unique to Singapore. The millionaire explosion of Singapore is a lesson in what is achievable when a country lines its policies with human ambition. Its taxes draw money, its property market generates riches, its educational system produces genius. The real brilliance, though, is the attitude orderly, forward-looking, and unrelenting. From a $2 dish of chicken rice to a $5 million empire, Mr. Tan's path demonstrates the extent these values can propel one. Though tiny in area, the island's concepts are unbounded. 719 square kilometers. They force us to consider. What initial move toward prosperity is ours? Perhaps you are looking at a local investment, lowering one's spending, or registering for a course. Whatever it is, Singapore shows that large dreams only need a great plan rather than a large nation. Your next action, then, is what? Share it in the comments to help us to create money together. Subscribe for more tales of worldwide achievement, and let's continue to grow in knowledge from the most intelligent cities around.